Back here on the Boxer Sports Network, Mike Smith, your sports information director, with you here on Inside the Den, your Boxer Sports Talk show, and our head football coach, Ian Falconer, joining us. And Ian, you take over the program as head coach now this year. Obviously, probably not exactly how you saw it coming to fruition as far as that goes, but you've been around Pacific football ever since the restart back in 2010. But how's the adjustment going to the head coaching role and dealing with the things that are going on right now?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, and I appreciate you having me. Obviously, it's great to have you join the family like you have been here just recently, and I feel like we're going to be able to do great things, Mike. So thanks for having me. Yeah, I think it is in no way standard, but I mean it's for the course for everybody. I think if there's anything that we can say about COVID is it's some shared experience over just interrupted plans, But I think that's not all together and a terrible way, just to remember that sometimes that's how life works, and my family is really lucky to be healthy. I'm lucky to be healthy. I think the vast majority of our football team hasn't been directly affected by the virus, but as far as my strengths as a leader, I think, and what I love the most, which is to be with people and to be with my players and coaches, it's been tough at times, but we're really fortunate just as a family. I think we're fortunate as a Pacific family as well to be weathering the storm quite well. But there's still a lot to go and a lot of creativity to still, I think, kind of help continue to move it forward, because that's the biggest thing. We just try to continue to think creatively about ways to connect with our players, ways to even connect as coaches, because what COVID has kind of sucked out of the room for a lot of people is that magic of just being together. The thing I believe that makes people and human beings, when we are our most happy, we are connected. So it's just finding ways to solve problems and being good about the responses that we make when life hands us big fat challenges.
No doubt, I agree, and we've got a little bit of a positive, obviously, being able to have practice and the guys that are here on campus and such. You've been able to have them now for the last couple of weeks going in that capacity. How have you kind of seen the spirits of the guys maybe pick up, given the fact that they've been able to be around each other a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think about, that coaches and players are so different. In the end, we're all human beings, right? I think that those first couple of days that we were out there, we just couldn't stop smiling, right? Because we'd missed each other so much. And even though right now, the kids want to put on helmets and shoulder pads and bang and play real football, which is hopefully in the future, we're just focused on that piece of just being together as a football team. And we're constantly talking about how important it is to build trust just inside of our, athletic department, but primarily in the football program. And we still need to find ways to do that, so being together and to have a chance to work together and all those experiences that go along with preparation. We feel like we're taking steps forward, but we were pretty giddy there for a bit. And, even this morning running around, the weather's beautiful and we're up early in the morning and all the kids are there. And, right now they seem really clear-eyed. They seem really excited. We're going to hopefully progress the drills as we go and hopefully things continue to improve with the virus and all those things. But we're really enjoying ourselves for now. And all the coaches are looking at each other going, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I chose this profession. You know what I mean? So.
Chatting with the head football coach here at Pacific, Ian Falconer, on Inside the Den, your Boxer Sports Talk show. And Coach, you mentioned the coaches, obviously a good group of guys that I've gotten to meet. And I think that, based on, some stuff that I've gotten to talk with a lot of guys, good football acumen, but good people as well. And I know that, experience is there for some, but, some of the newer guys as well have been added to the staff for you. Kind of talk about the staff and some of the new additions too.
Yeah. Well, I took over a great group of coaches that were here. And obviously Keith Buckley has now become our athletic director, and I was able to take over as the head coach. And so in the first couple conversations, first couple days right after the season finished and I sort of took over, I started having conversations with the guys on the staff, and it took me about to my fifth or sixth interview before I realized that a bunch of those guys didn't really know what my plan was. But in my mind, everybody's staying. Nobody's going anywhere, just because I felt that strongly about the guys that we have and really just kind of the culture that's been built as far as having tremendous football coaches. And that's one of the things that Pacific football has done in a very short time, in the 10 years where Coach Buckley and myself and some other coaches really kind of built it up. We've had some unreal coaches. We really have. We've had guys move on to the Division I level. We've sent a lot of guys on to full-time positions in the Big Sky Conference. And things that we're really, really proud of. And this staff right now, I think my coordinators are guys that that just are very, very good football coaches. Lucas Gilgan, that's been with us for a good chunk of time now, and he's just one of those really young, bright coaches that just continues to grow. And Jim Kraft, who's come back to us now after being at Pacific with us for the first 3 seasons, went to Cal Poly and was an offensive coordinator there for a chunk of time, and now has come back to the Portland area because that's where he and his wife are from. But both of those guys, in a lot of ways, I can feel very, very confident that we are schematically going to have great answers on both sides of the ball. And then our younger coaches are all guys that I really vetted. And when I say it's important for me to vet coaches, one of the biggest things is just the heart and the mind. You know what I mean? Who are they as people, like you said? Because it's my belief that we can teach just about anybody football, right? Our schemes and what we do on offense and defense should not be such a level of mysticism that you can't take somebody that's well smart enough and loves to coach and communicate with young people and really, train and create a great coach. Because in our mind, the first thing that coaches have to do, and they really have to do it at an elite level, is prove to the young people that they're coaching that they care about it. That is the first thing. All the other stuff, that comes in time. But really, in the end, that kid, and whether he's your best player or he's one of the kids that's going to be the last off the bench, all those guys have to understand that those coaches are there just to help try to create an experience for those players that's going to change their life. And that's a core belief for me. And I don't believe there's anybody in my staff that disagrees with me, but that is the thing. And I think everybody on our staff right now has that good heart, has that good mind, and they're all eager to grow and get better.
Nice. Well, there's been some pretty good players come through Pacific as well and putting up some big numbers. I know that there's been some guys that were on last year's team scheduled to come back this year that kind of gave this team, a good group to work with. I know that early on we learned about the COVID thing. You didn't know like what the season would have, but just to look football wise, what did the team look like to you coming into this year with what you were bringing back?
Yeah, I think we all knew, and we still know, and that's the roster and the coaching staff, that we have a chance to be a good football team in the future, and that's obviously really exciting. And there's some very strong personalities on both the offense and the defense, and some really good leadership, which has been a huge focus just for myself, and I think trying to develop in our football program to really kind of clarify the culture that we want to see. I was able to really early kind of lean on a group of players that have proven themselves on the football field, which to me, that is only kind of a chunk of the leadership piece, but really try to work with them and try to develop them in another capacity of just kind of how to lead our roster. And, I think this last year, all the kids that, they could feel it, that off season, that kind of spring that we were going through, and we've been going in the weight room early in the mornings. And then we were basically just in our first week of spring ball. We felt like we had real momentum. You know what I mean? The kids could feel the energy. I mean, the work that they put in, especially in those early mornings, we were able to do full team lifts. We really felt like we hit our stride with our strength program last year, just using the facility the right way. And those lifts in the morning, those felt like practices, the intensity that the kids were bringing. So we'll have a chance to get back to that at some point. We still feel really good about the facility. We feel great about how we develop players. Because really in the end, that's one of the biggest pieces, I think, especially at the small college level, is recruiting obviously the right people for your program, which coaches can control that, right? We try to recruit who we can. We can't give people necessarily full athletic scholarships, but we try to find the right guys. But it's recruit and develop, right? And once you get them there, what is the work that you are doing to take Johnny from point A, hopefully to a very, that really high apex, point B. So we were really happy with where we were going last spring. It's been a lot of shifting and kind of jiving to be able to figure out COVID, but we think we got a great system now for the situation at hand. So we're excited about the group that we're bringing back. But if anything, looking at this next year, where hopefully we have some competition in the spring, we're going to use this year to develop. We're going to use this as a chance and continually remind the kids that this is their opportunity to really grow, especially those young players who are just getting here, and usually a freshman rolling in the door for that first camp. I mean, he's choking on the playbook, right? I mean, he is just so stressed out, trying to balance his time, trying to get up on time, trying to get to meetings, lifts, and then know what to do. And, Coach Gilgan says stat cover 4. You know what I mean? So right now, our freshmen, even though they haven't had that standard camp experience, they're just getting to work on the really small pieces of what it is to play D-line here. How does an offensive lineman move in the offense that Pacific runs? You know what I mean? I mean, you can kind of go down the line. So it's kind of fun to really get, the word is granular with a lot of these different positions, because they don't have to go play a game Monday. So we're trying to use that as an advantage as we develop the kids.
you obviously have a different situation than like any random head coach coming into a program. You've been with the program, you move into the head coaching role, so I'm sure that has kind of helped in that scenario. But what's kind of been maybe the best thing for you since being with the program's restart back in 2010 that has helped you become the coach that you are now?
I think that coming to Pacific and having a chance to start a football program from scratch was it's a train that leaves the station sort of once in your career. And thinking back 10 years ago, I eagerly leapt on that train. I really, really wanted to be a part of it. I had met the people at Pacific. I'd met Keith and just felt a real kind of instant connection about how he wanted to do things. So I've had a chance to grow, kind of hold on to my core beliefs as a coach and grow inside of a culture that very, very much fits who I am and how I believe how you properly motivate young people. And so coming here and literally getting to kind of lay the foundation and build the house, put the roof on it, sheetrock it, do the whole deal was tremendously impactful for me as a coach. And I really think that coming to Pacific and seeing a community, honestly, that really genuinely cares about football, cares about athletics overall. To be honest, I hadn't experienced that at Division III schools before. I'd been at great schools, but when you rolled the ball out there on Saturday, it was friends and family, and that was it. And you come to a Pacific game and just the vibe of the tailgate and the people that are there and the crowd noise and just sort of that whole kind of thing. I immediately thought this place wants to do this right. And luckily, we had a tremendous AD at the time, Ken Schumann, that's now moved on to retirement, but he kind of built the thing. And a lot of me wanting to continue to stay at Pacific has been the connection that I've built with our AD, Keith Buckley, who I think just has a chance to be an elite athletic director. And if there's anybody you want to kind of be skippering the ship through something like this kind of storm, you want it to be that guy. It's been unbelievable for me to be here, because I think also the way that I want to do things and the way that I want to talk to young people and motivate a football team for a lot of people isn't always necessarily standard. And for me, that's okay, because I don't think I'm that different, that I believe that, doing the process right is what gets you to that end goal and all those good things that you want to have happen. But just what we talk about and the words that we use and the way that we try to motivate our players and motivate each other isn't for everybody, and that's okay. But I believe it is the right way. And I believe that especially when you have athletes that are here to get hopefully an elite level education, but they don't want to settle for sort of a minimized football experience or a minimized athletic experience. You got to create an atmosphere and environment where people want to continually come back and plug into it, And again, having COVID become something that keeps us away from each other, if anything, we've been reminded of, just like I said, that magical spark of being together and how much we really care about each other. That idea of building trust and building the connections in our staff and with the kids, like, that's the secret sauce. You know what I mean? What you do offensively and defensively and them being well coached is important. But it's, in my mind, it's down the ladder for having a group of people that really, really believe in each other. And when it comes out there on Saturday, and come good or come bad, we're going to be okay, because we know who we are and we know the work that we've done and the genuine confidence that we can carry when we go play any opponent.
Nice. Well, Coach, I'm looking forward to working with you even more and getting that football season going when we can play some games and see that pigskin moving around. And I want to say thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, Mike. Look forward to hopefully more of these. I think this is great. Hopefully it gives people a chance to look in and at least see what's going on in my big head. I think this is an awesome opportunity for people outside just to kind of see what's going on, because a lot of people ask about what's going on with football, what's going on with athletics, and we're fine. You know what I mean? We're doing okay. COVID isn't forever. And, if anything, whatever comes out on the other side, what we do now, we can define what it looks like on the other side. And that's inside of our football program, inside of our campus community. So it's kind of trying to seize on this opportunity, even though it's not necessarily what we would want, but we have a chance to have this storm change us, right? If we go through it, we have an opportunity to be better on the other side and help define what we want our reality to look like. And that's what I think about on a daily basis. And that's what I encourage our team to think about on a daily basis. Because one way or the other, we can't change it, but we can only really choose what we do next to make that next right decision. And I think whenever we come out of this, we're going to be just fine.
Most definitely. We will be bigger and better, moving forward, no doubt, with Pacific Athletics. That's head coach for the football team, Ian Falconer, here on Inside the Den, your Boxer Sports Talk show. We'll continue on when we come back.